Thriller 40, the documentary, was a bit disappointing. They didn't even talk to any of his siblings or anybody that was... I felt like it could have been longer. Okay, they talked to Brooke Shields. I feel like they didn't go into the songs enough. They didn't talk about the lady in my life at all. And Mary J. Blige, why was Mary J. Blige in this documentary? I think Spike Lee could have done a better job of talking about Thriller 40, or no disrespect to her, but Thriller 40 is available to be watched on Paramount Plus if you have the Showtime addition to your account. So go check it out. That's my opinion. You may feel differently. What's up, YouTube? My name is The Real Deal 06, aka Steve, and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be on none other than the greatest entertainer of all time. Without question, there is no debate. Michael Jackson is probably one of the most influential and most controversial artists to ever exist in our lifetime. And I have been a fan of Michael Jackson since I was a small child. My earliest memories are of seeing the Thriller video and being horrified and terrified of everything that happened in that film, or short film rather. But I love Michael Jackson. He captured my imagination even as a small child, and I've been a fan ever since. Which is probably the case with a lot of people that might watch this video. So today I'm going to be showing my extensive Michael Jackson collection, which includes books, CDs, DVDs, and of course, my vinyl collection of Michael Jackson albums. This is actually going to include items from the Jackson 5, the Jacksons, as well as his solo work. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's jump into some books. Recently, I had the pleasure of seeing the MJ musical from the Broadway production, but the touring version of the MJ musical here in Dallas. And so the first thing up is the playbill from the MJ musical. I know Michael Jackson isn't directly related. You know, he's not in the Broadway show, but you know, this is as close as I will get to ever seeing Michael Jackson in person. As an actor playing the role of Michael Jackson. But it was a very good show. Nobody can duplicate Michael Jackson, but they did a very good job in attempting to reproduce their version of what Michael Jackson sounds like. But yeah, so the playbill, this was not the touring cast does not include Miles Frost, who originated the role, but it was a great cast, a great show. So the playbill. And then I bought a souvenir book, and this actually does show Miles Frost in the role of MJ, which was pretty cool. So it has cast photos and information about the show, all in this book. Not gonna flip through the whole thing, but that's some of it. The cast, and there's Miles. They're doing Beat It. So yeah, it's pretty cool to have that. That's the back of it. One of the very first books that I wanted to make sure that I purchased many years ago when I first started collecting Michael Jackson memorabilia was the autobiography that he wrote, Moonwalk. I'm not sure if this is an original print of the book. I didn't give that much thought into it, but I purchased it for a few dollars on eBay many years ago. And there's some cool pictures in this book. And I'm pretty sure most people have seen these before. I believe this is from the Victory Tour with his brothers. And there's some childhood photos and other things in this book. So if you're a Michael Jackson fan, this is something that you should own. And the last book that I have is actually a collection. It's a book by Richard, I don't know how to say it, but it's called Michael Jackson, All the Songs, the Story Behind Every Track. So there's this book, and it's a pretty hefty book. It talks about every song that Michael has ever recorded. I think all the songs that have actually been released. And there is the back of the book. Pretty insightful, tells about the creation of the songs and, you know, all the good details behind and the meanings of the songs and that sort of thing. So a pretty cool book about Michael Jackson's music. Not very much about his life, just about his music. So the first one that I have is the Moonwalker Blu-ray. And of course, this is not an official release from the estate, because I don't think they've ever re-released it in any capacity. But something cool to have. I bought it on eBay many years ago too. That's the back of it. And the DVD on the inside. Moonwalker. Next up would be Live at Wembley on DVD. Not the greatest quality video, because I think it was just a VHS copy of the concert that they mass produced. But Michael Jackson Live at Wembley. That's the back. This is also the bad era. Sorry for the glare. But there it is. Michael Jackson is not actually in this, but it is the Jackson's An American Dream film. And if you have not seen it, you should see it, because it's probably the closest thing that we'll ever get to an actual biopic or biopic, or however you say the word, of the Jacksons or Michael Jackson. Although the story does end before the height of Michael Jackson's celebrity with the Thriller album or Bad or anything, nothing past the breakup of the Jackson 5 or the Jacksons as a group. But it is still a great movie. That's the inside, and it's 2 discs, so there's a part 1 and a part 2. I remember watching this on TV when it first came out, and I had to have it. So it was a mini series, and I had to have it. So that is the Jacksons An American Dream. Next up is The Wiz, and there he is as the Scarecrow with Diana Ross and the other actors. I love this movie. I think I watch it every Christmas or Thanksgiving or something. I love this movie. I've loved this movie my entire life. And there's the inside. Next up, we have the History DVDs, the greatest hits. And these are video compilations of his short films and some performances. And this is History Part 2. And as you can see, I wrote my initials on the outside of the DVD box because I wanted everybody to know that it was mine. And inside the DVD, my initials written on the actual DVD. But I was pretty young when I bought these, so. Neither one of these has the full version of Smooth Criminal. I think the only the only source that shows the full version of the Smooth Criminal video or short film is from the Moonwalker film. Next up is, it's not officially a Michael Jackson album or Michael Jackson project, but it is probably what, not probably, it is what started the fascination for me with Michael, and it is the Motown 25. And this is a special edition box set that came out in the 2000s, I want to say. And this was the performance that he did the moonwalk for the first time. And of course, there were other Motown artists that were a part of that show. And I love watching every single second of Motown 25. But of course, my favorite part of the show is watching Michael Jackson perform Billie Jean and doing the moonwalk for the first time. I was trying to see if there were, I haven't looked at this in a very long time, but there's a program, a replica of the program from that event. And then there's a book with some other pictures and things. Let's see if I can find pictures of Michael in here really quick. There's Stevie Wonder. There's a Michael picture. He's practicing, rehearsing with, I think that's, is that Jermaine? Yeah, that's Jermaine. They're rehearsing there with Jackie and Jermaine. And here's the brothers with Marvin Gaye. The actual DVD, Motown 25. As a kid, my aunt actually had a VHS copy of the concert, the actual VHS copy that was sold back in the early 80s, I believe, whenever it first was produced for home video. She actually has that and still has it to this day, I believe. And I would go to her house and I would watch that video with my cousins over and over and over and over and over again. I'm surprised. I would be surprised if that tape is still in any sort of good condition. But yeah, that's Motown 25, front and back. I believe that's the Four Tops and the Temptations doing their battle. And it comes with another DVD that has a documentary about the show and it talks to the producers and that sort of thing. So it's just a cool item to have. But of course, I watch it mostly because of Michael Jackson. All of the CDs that I have are the actual special editions of his solo projects, Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad, Dangerous, and then I have History. So first up is Michael Jackson's Off the Wall, special edition. What year did these come out? 2001. So I've had these since about 2001 when these came out. And it's a sleeve, a slip cover, and the CD is on the inside, and it says special edition on in the jewel case. I'm not sure if you can see that. There are the glittery socks. Here's Michael on the back. And the track listing. The special edition includes like voiceover, like interviews from Quincy Jones and Rod Temperton, who's a songwriter that Michael used quite a lot. He's not on this one, but he's on the Thriller one. And the booklet, it has a few extra pictures in there. I want to say this is from Can You Feel It? The video for Can You Feel It with his brothers. The lyrics are also in the booklet. Michael performing. And Michael and Paul McCartney. And then Michael on the back. The CD actually is of the brick. Next up is Thriller. Special edition. Not Thriller 25, but Thriller that was released in 2001. So the slipcover. And of course they acknowledge the 8 Grammys won. And I love the picture of him with the tiger. This is probably my favorite special edition cover. And then the regular cover of the CD. And Michael doing his thing on the back in the Thriller video. There's the CD. And the booklet, much like the other one, includes alternate pictures. There's that and the baby tiger again, and the lyrics getting made into the Werecat. And the video doing the dance moves. Just being Michael. And he and Quincy Jones at the Grammys. So that is the Thriller Special Edition. Next up is Bad. Oh, sorry, upside down. Bad Special Edition. Back of the slipcover, which should be the same on the actual CD. Actually, no. There's Michael in concert performing during the Bad Tour era. That's the front. Inside, the CD is actually red. But there's the cover of that, and on the back, there's pictures of Michael. Smooth Criminal. These are probably my favorite shots of Michael. Smooth Criminal again. Liberian Girl, not librarian, Liberian Girl. So that is Bad, the special edition. Now we have Dangerous, special edition, front and back. My favorite album cover. And here's the back. inside. This and the booklet. It's just, I'm not sure in this one that there are images that we haven't seen before, but that's from the Jam video. Michael performing. And a Dangerous tour. Black or White video. And Remember the Time. Another one of his short films that is very high on the list of my favorites, with Eddie Murphy and Iman. So that's Dangerous. And then we have History. History, Past, Present, and Future, Book 1. Front and the back. This one, and again, they're my little signature, my little initials on everything, because I wanted everybody to know that this was mine. I don't know, maybe I had a fear that somebody would take my Michael Jackson stuff. And it comes with a booklet on the inside, and I'm sure everybody has seen this before. This is not new. But I was not one of the lucky ones to get the unedited version of They Don't Care About Us when it originally got pressed. So what I own is an edited, or the reprinting of the CD. Michael on his toes, he and Elizabeth. And yeah, so it's just images from videos and other candid shots. This is probably my favorite headshot of Michael. So that's History, Past, Present, and Future, Book 1. Last on the CDs would be Thriller 40. Thriller 40. I know everybody has their thoughts about Thriller 40 and how the rollout was treated and the things that we've received from Thriller 40. I personally have my own thoughts about Thriller 40, but I'm gonna keep it really nice and really short. The discs, I made sure that I didn't buy the vinyl because I hated what they'd done with the cover. I hated it. It looked horrible. So the CD was a consolation for me because it looked much better than the mock-ups that I had seen about what the vinyl was actually going to look like. The songs that were chosen to be a part of Thriller 40, the unreleased songs, were a bit lackluster. And if you are a fan of Michael Jackson, you probably heard them before, and when you saw the track listing, you were probably a little disappointed. But nonetheless, this is Thriller 40. Again, the picture of him with the baby tiger. And information about the success of the album. Again, some of the same photos, and they use the single photos for each song. So that's Thriller 40, the CD. Thriller 40, the documentary, was a bit disappointing. I felt like it could have been longer. 80, 90 minutes or however long it was not really long enough to talk about the biggest selling album of all time. I feel like they didn't go into the songs enough. They didn't talk about the lady in my life at all. PYT was kind of glazed over. I think Spike Lee could have done a better job of talking about Thriller 40 or creating, the story of what it was like to create that album and give us more information about where Michael's mind was, how he felt, the writing about the album. They didn't even talk to any of his siblings or anybody that was... Okay, they talked to Brooke Shields. Why? Why are we talking to Brooke Shields? No disrespect to her, but... And Mary J. Blige? Why was Mary J. Blige in this documentary? Anyway, Thriller 40 is available to be watched on Paramount Plus if you have the Showtime addition to your account. So go check it out. It's worth a watch. The victory footage, the victory tour footage, in my opinion, in such high quality was reason enough to watch because I love seeing Michael perform with his brothers. But the Thriller 40 documentary as a whole was a disappointment. That's my opinion. You may feel differently. We're going to go into the vinyl that I have of Michael Jackson. And I apologize now if this video has already become too long for you to watch because I have quite a bit of stuff. And I don't even have half the amount of stuff that some people have collected of Michael Jackson. I just have my little small collection that I love. Michael is probably one of the top artists as far as the amount of things that I own in my collection. It's attributed to him because he's just that important to me as an artist. Anyway, the first one up is the Jackson 5 Christmas album, which was always kind of weird to me because I learned early on that Michael didn't celebrate Christmas or birthdays, so it was kind of weird to hear him sing about Christmas, and he never celebrated Christmas growing up as a child. But I understood that it was a product and they were selling albums. So Michael Jackson and his brothers on the cover. Of course, this is a repressing, not the original pressing. If I'm not mistaken, let's see, is it? Yeah, it's just black vinyl. But that's the back of the album. My favorite song from this album is probably I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. But this is the Jackson 5 Christmas album. Who did not celebrate Christmas. Next up, we have Jackson 5, The Greatest Hits. This one I believe I purchased from Urban Outfitters. So it is the quad mix and it is on a clear vinyl. But mine has a small defect as far as it being clear, and I'm not sure if the camera will pick that up, but there's a scuff of some color right there on the vinyl. But there it is. Jackson 5, The Greatest Hits. My favorite songs from this album, I Want You Back, ABC, Never Can Say Goodbye, I'll Be There, Maybe Tomorrow, Going Back to Indiana, and The Love You Save. So pretty much the whole album. I love early Jackson 5 music. This is a different version of the greatest hits. I bought this one in hopes of getting a stereo version of the pressing. It's got most of the same songs on it as far as the early Jackson 5 releases. I Want You Back, ABC. This has a few extra songs. I'm not sure where this pressing, is it a German pressing? I cannot remember exactly, but it looks like German on the back of this record. If somebody could read that and tell me what language that is, I want to say it's German, but I could be wrong. Down here at the bottom. Anyway, a different or alternate version of greatest hits. And then I did find a stereo version of the same one that I had. The track listing is the exact same as the one that I bought from Urban Outfitters. And so there's that one. Next up is Jackson 5, the Ultimate Collection. And it is a gatefold. And that's the back. This one is on black vinyl also. Of course, same as far as the greatest hits go. It has those songs on there, on here. I Want You Back, ABC, The Love You Save, I'll Be There, Never Can Say Goodbye, Who's Loving You, Maybe Tomorrow. My all-time favorite song of Michael when he was young is Got to Be There. That is also on here. And a bunch of other songs up until they became the Jacksons when they had to rebrand after leaving Motown. So the Jackson 5, the Ultimate Collection. All right, and this is a repress of the Jackson 5's ABC album. And it is on a blue vinyl. I got this on Record Store Day, I believe. Maybe a couple of years ago or a year ago. Was it last year? Maybe last year. And it's on a blue vinyl. Pretty color. So there's that one. My favorites, The Love You Save, ABC, Never, nope, that's not on here. La 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 means I love you. And I think that's it. But here's the back with the brothers. Sorry, out of frame. Pretty cool back cover. And this is the Diana Ross Presents the Jackson 5. I actually have 2 copies of this album. This is one that I bought off of eBay. And whoever Sherry is, thank you for selling me your album. Sherry, much like myself, liked to write her name on things. Here's the back of the record. It's just on black vinyl. My favorites off of this one, Zippity Doo Dah Day, I Want You Back, let's see, My Cherie Amour. That's it. That's it. But this is our introduction to the Jackson 5. Here's the other version that I have, the repress that was done It is on an orange vinyl. Next up is going to be the Jackson 5 Live. And these were repressed after his passing. A lot of his music was repressed on vinyl. So this is the Jackson 5. This was probably the beginning of his voice changing. And so some of this is kind of difficult to listen to, but you can tell that he's kind of struggling to hit some of those notes that he used to hit when he was a young kid. And it has a OB strip. Is that what you call it? The OB strip. And it's on purple vinyl. It's a gatefold. So nothing super exciting, but that's the Jackson 5 performing live. In the back, it shows all the other represses that were done, that were available at the time. Inside, there is a booklet, or I'm sorry, a poster. Let's see if I can show you guys. Jackson 5 poster. I should put that up somewhere. And then a small booklet that has lyrics. And I believe that's in Japanese because the album was recorded in Japan. So that's pretty cool. The disc itself, like I said, is actually in a sleeve that shows the brothers and Michael. And there's an order coupon. I'm assuming that they were trying to recreate what it originally looked like, but you could order different items, merchandise from the Jackson 5 fan club, I suppose. And it is on this purple swirl kind of pressing. The swirl is kind of not showing up here, but it's really pretty if you see it in person. So there's that. And next we transition from the Jackson 5 to the Jacksons, because at some point I will get all of the other Jackson 5 albums. I just haven't done so yet. But here's the Jacksons with Randy. Jermaine is no longer a part of the group at this point. He remained on Motown when the brothers went to CBS Records. That became Epic, I believe. I think that's how that worked. But there are the brothers, Michael Center. And that's the back. I have to be honest, I don't listen to this album very much, and it is on black vinyl. Enjoy Yourself, I like that song. Keep on Dancing, I like that song. Let's see. That's pretty much it from this album, The Jacksons. All right, the next one is Going Places. I do like this cover. I think it's pretty cool. And that's the back. And the inside with the brothers on motorcycles. And this is on black vinyl, I think, too. Yeah, it's on black vinyl. The songs, Going Places, Even Though You're Gone. This was the album that was mostly done by Gamble and Huff. Is that what I'm seeing? Yeah. Pretty good album. I like this one. Next up is the Jacksons Live. Took me a little while to get this one. I got it maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Yeah. And it's a gatefold. And the back with Michael's and his brothers. And the insert is photos from the, I want to say, was this Triumph? And the crowd. More pictures. It's a 2-disc set. Jackie had to make sure he showed you guys how ripped he was. But that is the Jacksons Live. The Can You Feel It is on there. Off the Wall, Ben, This Place Hotel, She's Out of My Life, and of course the the hits of the Jackson 5, ABC, I Want You Back, I'll Be There. Most of this is live renditions of Michael singing his songs. It has Off the Wall, Ben, like I said, She's Out of My Life, Rock With You, Working Day and Night, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, the songs that were from Off the Wall at the time. I believe, was this recorded for the... Was this the set list for the Triumph tour? Somebody tell me down in the comments. I want to say this was the set list for the Triumph tour. I'm not sure. My favorite Jacksons album is Destiny. This is my favorite Jacksons album. Gatefold of the brothers. And when I look at this picture, I often wonder how people couldn't tell that Michael was trying to use makeup to correct like blotchiness of his skin or what have you from effects of his vitiligo, but that's neither here nor there. That's the back. My favorite songs off of this album, Blame It on the Boogie, Things I Do For You, Shake Your Body, Down to the Ground, Destiny, All Night Dancing, and That's What You Get for Being Polite. I love this album. This is, like I said, my favorite Jacksons album. Next up is Triumph. That's the front and the back. And I need a not a repress, but a better copy of this album. As you can see, it has ring wear, and it's not in the, like, the cover is not in the best condition. The disc also is not in the best condition. I got this off of eBay many years ago when I first started my collection. Of course, Michael and the Jacksons were some of the first artists that I started purchasing. And if you're interested in starting your own record collection, I suggest buying music that you enjoy. Don't follow trends. Don't try to collect things or buy things that you're not gonna listen to. Anyway, that's my little 2 cents as a collector. The songs on this one that I like are Can You Feel It, Lovely One, Heartbreak Hotel, and that's it. Last of the Jacksons is Victory. Victory, and there's the insert, the gatefold, I'm sorry. Jermaine is back during this era. That's the insert with the pictures of the brothers. All 6 of them. On black vinyl. The other side has lyrics, not lyrics, I'm sorry, just the credits for the songs. Also, not one of my favorite Jackson's albums, but I have it. State of Shock are, well, some of my favorite songs. State of Shock, Torture, and that's kind of it. But I have it nonetheless because I'm a fan. Michael was in a film called The Wiz before he made the Moonwalker movie. And I have that on vinyl. It's sort of like the Off the Wall where it's pressed. The cover is printed in a weird way, so it's like that. But this is the front, and this is the back. Miss Diana Ross as Dorothy, and Michael as the Scarecrow. Nipsey Russell as the Tin Man, and I never remember the actor who played the Cowardly Lion. I can never remember his name, but I love this movie. I love the music from this movie. This is the black version, black vinyl version of this one. I do have another version, and here that one is. Vinyl Me Please released a box set from some Quincy Jones albums. Quincy Jones produced and created the music that went along with the soundtrack for The Wiz. So that is this version. Most of this is pretty identical to the other version. And the only difference, I think, is the pressing is gold, whereas the other one that I have is black. And the inserts, The Wiz, a photo of the studio where the music was recorded, info about the recording, and there's Quincy Jones. There was a booklet, but I'm not sure. The Vinyl Me Please version does not come with the booklet. Let's see. The original version has a book somewhere. There it is. So a lot like some of the Jackson 5 stuff, you could send in this little coupon to get merchandise. There's the booklet with the same photo, Quincy Jones. Information about the cast and crew. Photos from the recording session of the musicians. Let's see, where's Michael? There's a photo of Michael, I believe, in the cast. Diana Ross and Quincy Jones. Pretty cool stuff to see. Shots from the actual movie itself. Lyrics from the songs. And here is a poster that came along with it. There's Michael down in the lower corner down there as the Scarecrow. So pretty cool. And that's the original version. The repress does not have all that stuff. Next up is a record that probably needs to be replaced. It's kind of like the Triumph album, but it's the We Are the World recording. And if you know the history of that recording and that session, this is the product of that. With all the songs, not just the single. This has all the songs from the historic recording. And so it is a gatefold. And it has a lot of pictures of the artists that were involved, and Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, Stevie Wonder, Cyndi Lauper, Quincy Jones, and a bunch of other people. So pretty cool to have that. Next up is a single of Beat It. Michael looking cool. And it has a version of Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, a live version, and a picture from the Thriller album cover. Burn This Disco Out is also on here. Let's see. My favorite Michael Jackson album, musically, is Off the Wall. The music on this album, the production of this album is top tier. I don't care that it's disco. It just feels good. Like, this music has always felt right. And Michael does an amazing job singing and improvising and all the things that he does and adds to the production that Quincy Jones created. This is by far my favorite Michael Jackson album musically. And it's Off the Wall, that's the cover. And that's the back. And of course, this is a repress, but if you've never seen that before, that's what it looks like. And it's a gatefold, but there's nothing really to the gatefold. It's just the credits and lyrics of the songs. And it's on black vinyl. My favorites, Don't stop till you get enough. Rock with you, working day and night. Get on the floor, off the wall. Skipping girlfriend. She's out of my life. I can't help it. It's the falling in love and burn this disco out. So with the exception of girlfriend, this entire album, love it. The best-selling album of all time, of course, Thriller. Iconic cover. Iconic. Michael on the inside with the tiger in his white suit. And the back. And of course, this is a repress. I wanted to try to find an original pressing of the album. I'm sure it's easy to find on eBay or Discogs or wherever. But yeah, it's Thriller. Again, the majority of the album are my favorites. Wanna Be Starting Something, Baby Be Mine. I hate A Girl Is Mine. I don't care what anybody says. The song is trash. But I understand the politics of why it was the first single from the album. I get it. Thriller, Beat It, Billie Jean, Human Nature, PYT, The Lady of My Life. The Thriller 40 documentary just did not talk about the creation of the music as in depth as it should have. We didn't get enough of learning about Michael's mindset and how he wrote some of these songs, or even the other people that wrote songs on the album and the meanings of the songs and what they, I mean, of course, art is subjective and everybody has their own opinions of what things mean and their interpretation, which is fine, but to me, a documentary is supposed to kind of explain those things and kind of flesh out those stories. And I don't feel like Thriller 40 did an adequate job. That's my opinion. But anyway, next up is Thriller 25, which would be the last time that Michael was involved with creating an anniversary edition of this album. Thriller 25. And it's the back. And that's the inside. Gatefold. Epic photo. Let's talk about this cover for a moment. So Thriller 40 decided that they wanted to change the image that was used on the cover of the album. And they also changed the type font, which just changed some things and made people feel a way about the way Michael had intended for the album to look and feel, and it wasn't a good representation, and it looked tacky, it looked cheap, it looked bad, and not in a good way, not in the way that, it wasn't good. And I feel like if they wanted, to reference or use a reference to kind of draw from what they needed to do with the album or the album artwork or anything, if they were wanting to change anything, they should have looked to this one to kind of head in this kind of direction, because it doesn't, the font, the 25, everything that's here doesn't detract from anything that Michael would have wanted for the album, or just the way people feel about the record. I feel like this was tastefully done. It looks decent. It looks good enough for an anniversary edition to be released, and estate, get it together, because Thriller 40 was a hot mess. So anyway, that's Thriller 25. Of course, the remixes on this album are horrible. will.i.am, Akon, Fergie, Kanye West were not needed on any of those songs, but I guess they were, you know, close to Michael at that time. will.i.am was a big producer, or is a big producer, still is. Akon too, Kanye West. All personal feelings aside, he's a musical genius, I think. He's a genius in terms of what he does as an art form. But yeah, that's Thriller 25. This is the last time I'm going to mention Thriller in this video. Of course, it's the biggest selling album, greatest selling album of all time, with over 100 million copies sold worldwide. But I purchased the Mobile Fidelity version of this album. That's the front and the back, and it's numbered. I have number 7,594 of 40,000, limited to 40,000. I'm not sure how limited 40,000 is, but I have that number, 7,594. This is the only Mobile Fidelity recording that I have. The only thing I really have to say about it is it was expensive for a one disc pressing, but I wanted to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Thriller, and I did not want to buy the Target pressing with the alternate cover or see that stupid slip cover that was included. I just didn't want it, and this was the only thing that I would purchase that I guess would honor the legacy of Thriller. This is what's inside, the track listing on the back of that. Inside is the original album artwork that's on the inside of the CD and the other vinyl. Michael's artwork and credits. And the disc itself. Mobile Fidelity does their proprietary type of vinyl, their exclusive type of vinyl. And it sounds good. It's just, it was super expensive. I know there's a lot of controversy when it came out as to whether or not it was worth the $100 to, or $130, however much it cost to buy this album, if it made any significant difference from being on the Mobile Fidelity types of vinyl, or the purest form of vinyl, or whatever. I just listen to it because I love the album. I don't really care about all that other mumbo jumbo that people get into. Again, which goes back to my point, when you're buying vinyl or buying records in general, buy what you like. Don't buy it because some person on YouTube said to buy it. Either you're gonna play it and listen to it and enjoy it, or you're not. And it's a personal preference. Everybody's ear is different, so it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. You buy the music that you enjoy, spend the money that you want to spend on your vinyl record collection. So, off my soapbox, this is the Thriller pressing from Mobile Fidelity. Was it a good choice to spend that amount of money? I don't know. I could have just lived with, I think I could have just lived with the regular repress that I got from wherever I got it from many years ago, and I could have been fine. But I wanted to have something to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the Thriller album, and so I bought it. Next up is the first Michael Jackson album that was gifted to me, and it's a picture disc, a Bad 25. That's the picture disc, and that's the back. I haven't opened this in a long time, so I'm not sure what the other side of the record looks like. Oh, cool. Bad 25. Awesome. Bad is probably I have the most memories from Bad because I was a little older by the time this album came out. Bad, The Way You Make Me Feel, Speed Demon, Liberian Girl, Another Part of Me, Man in the Mirror, I Just Can't Stop Loving You, Dirty Diana, and Smooth Criminal are my favorites. Just Good Friends is just kind of, I love Stevie Wonder. I love everything that he does, but it just wasn't a great song, in my opinion. It could have been left off and they could have put Leave Me Alone on the album. Of course it was on the CD later on, but I didn't need it. Of course, I had to get the actual album, not the picture disc. So there's that. And a gatefold with some of my favorite photos of Michael. And that. The Bad era is probably the one that I remember the most because I was a little older. And of course I had to get Bad 25. This does actually have Leave Me Alone on it. And inside, photos of Michael. And this is a trifold. So sorry, it's kind of hard to show this one. Ooh, there we go. Photos. Michael and Quincy in the studio. And it's 3 discs. Of course, the same songs that I love as were mentioned in the previous one. It also has unreleased at the time tracks like Don't Be Messing Around, I'm So Blue, aka Abortion Paper, Song Groove, aka Abortion Papers, Free, Price of Fame, Al Capone, Streetwalker, Fly Away, Todo Mi Amor Eres Tu, and the French version, I don't know how to say that one. A remix of Bad, which remix of Speed Demon, and another remix of Bad. Stop remixing Michael songs. They're not good, y'all. They're not good. But that's Bad 25. Next up is a single of Remember the Time. That's the front and the back. And Remember the Time, of course, is one of my favorite short films by Michael. I think this is The picture, the photograph itself is from In the Closet, I believe. But Remember the Time single, 12-inch single. Dangerous. That's the front and the back. This is actually from Music on Vinyl, and it's probably the best sounding record that I have in my collection. Like the bass, the balance of the instruments, everything sounds so good on this vinyl. But that's what the inserts look like. This one has a red version, I think, that was put out for an anniversary, but I don't know that it was ever announced as like a anniversary or a special edition. There is a red pressing of the Dangerous album that I would like to get, just because I want to collect it, not because it holds some significance, but I do love this album. My favorites: Jam, Why You Wanna Trip on Me, In the Closet, She Drives Me Wild, Remember the Time, Heal the World, Black or White, Who Is It, Give In to Me, Will You Be There, Gone Too Soon, Dangerous, Keep the Faith Is Okay. But yeah, this is Dangerous, a repressing from Music on Vinyl. Next up is History. History Continues. This is a picture disc of the album. History is up there as, you know, one of my favorite Michael albums. I was even a little older when this album came out, so I was able to, you know, start distinguishing my own personal musical taste at this time, not just listening to what my parents were listening to. Scream, They Don't Care About Us, Stranger in Moscow, Earth Song, Money, Come Together, You Are Not Alone, Childhood, History, and Michael's version of Smile are my favorites on this album. I would love to purchase the black vinyl or the box set, the original pressing of this album. I just don't have $230 or $250 to buy that. So I bought this one instead, and it sounds okay. I don't really like picture discs. I don't like the way they sound. The sound quality is reduced on picture discs, which everybody knows. Excuse me. But this is History Continues on picture disc. Next up is Invincible. That's the front and the back. I did at one point have this on CD, but in my moves and, you know, everything over the few years, I have misplaced that CD. I had a white copy of that album as well, and I know it comes in several different colors, but I was fortunate enough to be gifted a white copy, and I held on to it for a very long time, but now I cannot find it. But here are the discs, the inserts. This is very reminiscent of the Bad images on the inside of the gatefold, in my opinion. This is an underrated album by Michael. It came out in the early 2000s and sold millions of copies at this point. But it is not celebrated or respected as it should be. It was the last studio album of Michael while he was alive, and it should get better treatment than it has gotten. Some of my favorites off of this album are Unbreakable, Heartbreaker, Invincible, Break of Dawn, Heaven Can Wait, You Rock My World, Butterflies, Speechless, Privacy, The Lost Children, Whatever Happens, Threatened. The majority of the album. It's a really good album. I feel like Michael was in his bag when he made this. It's probably one of the most expensive albums created of all time. But Michael was worth it because he made magic whenever he went in the studio. So that's Invincible. I also have the Invincible picture disc, which is up next. The thing I love about having this is that it has all 4 colors of, it represents all 4 colors that were the album covers that was used as a promotional tool when the album was released. So this one is the blue and the green. Red and orange. So that's Invincible, the picture disc. The track listing is the same. Again, picture discs, the sound quality is not that great, but I love having it as a part of my collection. Next up is a compilation, Scream, Michael Jackson Scream, and that's the little strip at the top that shows the track listing on it. It's a 2 LP set. One disc is the blue and white splatter. And the other one is I want to say this is a glow in the dark. Somebody tell me in the comments if this is actually a glow in the dark. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's a glow in the dark disc, which means you have to sit it in the sun. And nobody told me that when I originally got it, but I think you have to sit it in the sun or have it, attract some sunlight or some source of light before it will actually glow in the dark. I didn't know that before, but now I know. So this is the front, and that's the back. And the birds are actually on the cover, not on the actual disc. So that is Scream. It's a compilation of Jackson's and Michael Jackson songs that were released in promotion for Halloween, I think. Ghosts, Thriller, Dirty Diana, Blood on the Dance Floor, Dangerous, Unbreakable, Escape, Threatened, Somebody's Watching Me, which is actually a Rockwell song that Michael, of course, wrote and produced. I don't know if he wrote it, but he produced it, and he's on the backing vocals. But that's Scream, Michael Jackson Scream. Next up we have, next up and last in this Michael Jackson collection is Escape, posthumous album of Michael, gatefold. Some of my favorites on this album, of course, Love Never Felt So Good, A Place With No Name, Slave to the Rhythm, Blue Gangsta, and Escape. Anyway, thank you for watching YouTube. Thank you for returning back to my channel to see what I have going on. Thank you for sitting through this long Michael Jackson collection. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I've enjoyed collecting Michael Jackson items. Of course, I have on a Michael Jackson t-shirt, and I have quite a few more Michael Jackson t-shirts. I just didn't want to include those as a part of the collection video this time. Hopefully at some point I'll be able to, like I said, get those other Jackson 5 albums, replace some of the items that I have that are kind of worn out, and continue to build my Michael Jackson collection, Jacksons, Jackson 5, Michael Jackson in general. I would have loved to have been able to go to Vegas to see the Michael Jackson 1 show at some point. Maybe if it continues to be in Vegas, I will get a chance to go. I am optimistic about the movie that is being done with his nephew, Jafar. I'm just hoping that they're able to tell a compelling story. They're able to tell the truth about Michael. Of course, a lot of lies have been told about Michael. And anyway, that's neither here nor there. Thank you for watching my video. Thank you for tuning in. And I hope you return, subscribe, share, comment, like, all those things, and be good to each other.